What's up, everyone? Welcome back to In the Loop, the only podcast where you can find three brothers chopping up the world of sports. Yours truly, Alex Lupica, joined by my older and washed-up brother Chris, my cute and cuddly little brother Zach.
Wow.
Yeah. Boys, got to address it right off the top. Blink-182 called. We can no longer
Shut
use
us down.
What's My Age again. So we got Golden Swag bringing us in for each podcast.
You got golden swag.
I sure do. So we begin the podcast with a post-mortem of USA soccer. The summer fling is over. See, Loop.
I got a little bit of an emotional hangover. I was thinking about it a lot. Alex and I watched the game yesterday. Zach was absent. And I'm really bummed out. I was having such a good time. I realized I was really mad at the team after the game. I was ready to come in here and kind of rip them a lot, which I'm still going to do. Don't worry. But I'm just bummed out that we don't get to watch these games because they're a lot of fun to watch. I mean, there's nothing really quite like it.
I don't know how fun that game was to watch. That was kind of like a slow death.
Oh, yeah, I had no fun watching it.
It really wasn't fun to watch.
It wasn't, but I guess what I'm saying is you wake up, you're kind of excited that the game is on that afternoon.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen to me again until the Giants season
There was an
starts.
excitement level. Let me put this in terms you can understand. You go up to Dorian's, Upper East Side.
Late night or
late night.
early?
You meet a freshman, maybe sophomore in college. You have this kind of summer relationship, this little fling. She goes back to college.
And I'm still a 26-year-old guy.
You're still a guy.
Are we talking best case for Chris?
Yeah,
at
this
this
is
point?
sort of best case thing.
Okay.
Maybe in 4 years you guys get back together in in the 2018 World Cup.
You're 30 at that point.
That's going to be nice.
30. Yikes. Zach, you tried to convince us that this team was good, and you were just completely wrong.
Well, originally
He's right about that. He's right about that. You
Ori-
did. They were going to beat Germany
Your
and,
used car
and
salesman.
conquest the world
Wait,
last
but
week.
originally it was, I hate Jurgen, I don't want Jurgen, he's bad, why do we have this German coach, we don't have Landon, we want Herb Brooks.
Are you imitating me right now?
Yeah, and then last week you kind of the King Jurgen thing kind of turned it all around and really get that. Now it seems like you're back after the
Okay,
loss.
I love Jurgen. I admit I was wrong about Jurgen. Now admit you were wrong about the team.
I wasn't wrong about the team. If you look at the last 8 teams left,
Chris.
we were right there.
Chris.
And all
I
those
just
teams
feel-
are great teams.
I feel like I was trying to figure out whether or not we were sold that this team was really good, but I think it's more along the lines of the fact that no matter what happens with this team, if we win, it's grit, determination, red, white, and blue. And if we lose, it's technically they're outclassed a little bit.
Did
it's
that
just
infuriate you?
It's just but they tried so hard. Of course they tried hard. It's the World Cup. If they didn't try, that would be strange.
That post-game narrative from the boys, Lee and Keller and
Lawless,
and
friend of the
Lawless and
podcast.
Donovan, we need to be more technical. We need more technical skill. You know what we need is a few more Germans dressed up as Americans.
That's
Cristiano
another word.
Ronaldo.
That's another word for talent. That's
Yeah.
the nice way of saying we need more talent. But what I'm saying is when we win, it's look at the grit, look at the determination. We can play with anyone. It's almost I know everyone wants to be nice because it's Team USA, and of course we're all on board with Team USA. But at the end of the day, it's okay to criticize these guys.
I was thinking about it. Jermaine Jones, John Brooks, Julian Green. The only other player to score, I'm pretty sure, was Clint Dempsey. And those three guys are all borderline, full-on German.
No, they're American now.
They are American at this point.
They are.
But I mean, and I think here's kind of one thing that I was thinking about, as a theme, just kind of takeaway, is at the end of the day, we made it just exactly as far as we did last year, almost down to the fact that we lost 2-1 in extra time in the round of 16. But Bob Bradley didn't have swagger, he didn't have the charisma that Jurgen does, and we fired him. There's no way we're firing Jurgen, right?
No, the country definitely fell in
Well, we
love
also
with him.
lost to a better team this year.
We
in Belgium.
won one game.
I know.
One
I
out
know.
of 4.
I know. So
It's
what?
not-
But you guys are acting like this is we didn't do well.
I don't think we didn't do well. I think that we kind of let ourselves get. I think the Portugal game we played. I think the Portugal game we played our best game. Can we agree?
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like we were the better team, and that kind of was okay, we're going to beat Germany, and then we'll see. But I think this is kind of where we were always going to end up, right, Zach?
Yeah, I mean it was gonna be where we were gonna end up, but we were so close. Wando puts that in the 92nd, and we're looking forward to Argentina. Everybody's a hero. We're all happy.
And let me come to Jurgen's defense a little bit here when I grade basketball coaches, them in a sec, coming out of timeouts is something
that
is
play
just
was
such
beautiful.
a clear representation
Gorgeous.
of the effect they have on the game. He puts Julian Green in, who scores a goal on his first touch, and that set piece. I mean, if that goes in, he might be the next president
I've never
of the United States.
I don't think I've ever seen a set piece executed that well, minus the goal. Like, it was unbelievable.
It looked like Brad Stevens threw that thing.
Oh,
Exactly. It was so perfect.
we'll get to that later.
But it's
too.
almost. Oh yeah, we'll get to Stevens in a bit. But I think that it's almost really good for Team USA that they got those last 15 minutes. Great for Jurgen too, because you can kind of be. Everyone's this morning. It's this roundup that's. Well, look at the future. It's right there. Julian Green is the future, and we almost had it, et cetera, and we never gave up. Whereas a 2-0 loss, it would have stung a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. We did salvage some credibility there at the end. And now everyone started to do the math about how old Timmy Howard's going to be in 2018.
He played, I mean, like, we haven't mentioned him.
39.
He played outstanding.
By the way.
He played outstanding. Not only did he have more saves than anyone's ever had, but the next highest guy was 9, and that was 1966. So put it in context there. He doubled the record.
Yeah, it was
he was
heroic
unbelievable.
effort. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't take anything away from him there, but I don't know. I can kind of feel a level of disappointment here.
There's
as
a
a
level
fan.
of disappointment, but first of all, everybody counted us out before the group stage. We were in the group of death. And then I also think about these other countries like Italy and Spain and England who are sitting there. England's probably sitting there looking at us. We outperformed them 2 World Cups in a row.
We should always outperform England in everything.
Not in soccer. That's their thing.
Yeah,
That's all they got.
I guess, yeah. That is all they have. But
and
still.
the Queen.
So, what do you think? Are you guys still interested at all, or is that girl going back to Trinity College and you're done with her for 4 years?
Well, I think
More like an
that was for Chris.
More like an SEC school. But that being said, I think for me, I'll watch like the glamour games, like France, Germany. I guess is kind of interesting. I'll watch the finals, but I'm not going to watch. I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm not watching a 90-minute soccer game again until 2018, where I'm sitting there for 90 minutes and completely invested.
That's the toughest part about the loss. It's like, well, we'll see you in 4 years, boys. It's been
But you're
fun.
the one who's been saying the MLS is going to catch on.
I didn't say the MLS was going to catch on.
Stop it.
Okay, like it's going to gain in popularity.
I mean, probably. It's not going to go down.
A little bit. I think that
I mean, the MLS has a huge problem because I just don't understand why, if you're a great soccer player, you would want to play in the MLS.
You see those games in Seattle, and you really do wonder, who are these people? You know?
They're psyched. I mean, in Seattle, you get psyched about just about anything.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something in the water in Seattle.
Sorry, Seattle. But I don't know. I don't think soccer has a chance to catch on in this country. I mean, I think that there's the hardcore fans who already like the MLS, and they're the casual fans who like to go to bars and watch the USA when they play, almost regardless of what sport. It's not quite swimming in the Olympics, but it's there.
There was one other thing I wanted to mention, and people talk about the flopping and Suarez bites and flops and all these things that you don't really see in American sports. There was a fan on the field who got so politely escorted off the pitch. I mean, we tase streakers in America.
I was actually excited to watch that guy get destroyed, and then the guy just kind of took him by the hand and walked him off the pitch.
It's ridiculous.
At least form tackle.
Yeah, every good sporting event I've been to with a streaker, I've gotten to at least see the guy
Security
getting lit
guards
up by a security guard.
They're licking their chops. It's the best part of their
But
job.
you want to be the second guy to hit him, I think, because the first guy has a chance to whiff. Once he's already been kind of bumped off his path, then you really get the kill shot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of fighter we all are.
One more thing on the soccer. Michael Bradley, to me, I think I was sold on as like the best player on our team leading up to the tournament. I think I heard somebody say that he's the only guy who could start for every team in the World Cup, and I really thought that he was. And it seemed like every game they were like, well, you know what, Bradley didn't have his best game. I thought he was disappointing overall.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, you hear the serious soccer fans say that he's kind of the defensive midfielder type.
That he was out of position?
It's not a glamorous, job that he does a lot of the time. He's a little out of position moving forward. He does a lot, off
I know,
the ball
but
and
it's
stuff. I don't
the
know.
World Cup. We got to get, if
I
you
agree.
think about the
I
other
agree.
guys, like Jermaine Jones was awesome. He was unbelievable.
I thought he played really well. Yeah.
Clint was amazing.
Yedlin yesterday.
Anybody but
Yedlin.
Chris
Belgium.
kept calling Yeldon.
Yedlin was
the entire game. You called him Yeldon.
Well, Yeldon, yeah.
They probably called his name 50 times.
He was
and
great
you,
in every
you
game.
really refused to change.
I think also at the end of the day, not having Josie really did end up hurting us.
That was just complete posturing, by the way. Apparently.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
no, there's no way he could play yesterday.
Why wouldn't you do that though?
No, I mean it's fine.
I guess not, but it
It's
became
like-
obvious pretty quickly that he was in no position.
It was
to play.
like Ibaka being out for the playoffs. 2 games later, he's back in.
Yeah, I don't blame them for it, but
to me,
complete posturing.
like
he probably has a torn hamstring.
Our biggest problem the whole time to me was that we couldn't control the ball up top. It's like Belgium would go up top, and they'd pass it around. They'd keep control, and we would go. There'd be a miscommunication. We'd try to make something happen, and we couldn't. I think if we had Josie up there, he would have made a pretty big difference.
Anybody but Belgium, right?
Yeah.
I mean, am I right?
Yeah. I used to have a good relationship with Belgium. No longer.
I used to like waffles.
I'm done with Belgium.
No, I'm done with waffles.
A lot of good waffle jokes yesterday.
All right, anything else on the soccer?
No, that's all I got.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, sure.
NBA free agency. Zach, it looks like I was right all along. The pipe dreams about LeBron leaving were just that.
Your boy LeBron.
Everyone's
now
opted out. Looks like they're all going to stick around.
But you could see him sign a short-term deal.
Yeah,
Which
I guess you could.
He's gonna, I think.
I've been hearing that he's going to. I mean, sources close to the podcast have been
Now
saying
you got
that.
sources.
Yeah, it's been saying that. I mean, everything I've read, it says that he wants the max deal, right?
Yeah, I think everything I've heard is he's going to get the max deal. Wade and Bosch are apparently going to take some drastic cuts to sign Kyle Lowry. I mean,
yeah, but Zach, you say good, and I know LeBron's your boy, but so he's going to take a pay raise, and his two teammates that he came to Miami with are going to take a pay cut, and then.
Do you watch the games?
Yeah. What?
No. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that if LeBron's whole deal is that he's this team first superstar and he's all about making the team better, then why not just join them in taking a pay cut?
Because at the end of the day, like, this guy's the best athlete in the world.
If one guy deserves a max deal, it's him.
He's never been the highest paid player on his team.
Wow, it's coming at me here, boys.
But
what I'm saying, okay, fine. Put it this way then.
What are you, a Bosch Wade guy all of a sudden?
No. Not at all am I defending them. I'm just saying that, like, you can't have if LeBron takes a max deal and he gets this raise and it's just 5 years and he's maxed out in Miami, I'm fine with that. He deserves it. But then he can't stand up there and complain that they don't have enough talent around him.
But if you look at it, Chris, LeBron, if you look at the three of them, LeBron's a $20 million player.
I'm
Wade
not
and Bosch
disagreeing with
are
that.
not.
I don't disagree that he's worth. He's worth. If there was no salary cap, he'd be worth $50 million a year.
Maybe more.
But what I'm saying
More.
is that if anyone has the financial, and I hate doing the financial, he's rich and it doesn't matter. Obviously, he wants to be paid like the player that he is. But you can't complain that you don't have any help if you get maxed out.
No, I agree. The complaints are over.
And it's the same for Melo, right?
Yeah, I think if you demand the max deal, they take cuts.
And it's the same with Kobe.
But Kobe's going to make $30 million, and he's not going to.
It's just his max is different than LeBron's max. But
I know.
So the other thing, like, LeBron really seems to be getting his way lately.
Yeah, draft Shabazz.
Yeah, draft Shabazz. And I looked up the Riley quote on this. He says, "I don't tweet. If LeBron and I have the same taste in talent, so be it. He didn't call me on the phone. He never has since I've been here the last 4 years." He's definitely called him. So
Riley is such a hard up.
Like, do you believe that? I mean, do you believe that LeBron's clear preference for Shabazz, dating back to the infamous tweet during the Final Four, had no effect on them drafting him?
It was 100% the reason that they drafted him. I mean, Riley can posture however he wants. But what do you think, Zach?
I don't know. I don't think it was 100%. I mean, it's a good fit. Like, who else are they going to get there? I think they did the best they could, regardless of LeBron.
I like Napier as a player. I think I went as far to say he'd be an NBA All-Star during the Final Four.
Like,
run.
I'm sure a couple other guys in the organization were like, look, this makes a lot of sense, besides the fact that LeBron wants him.
Like, he's good, plus LeBron wants him.
But can't you just say, the fact that LeBron likes him definitely impacted my decision?
I think when you're picking at, like, 25 or 26, you are kind of, what are they going to do? I mean, if they pick like a European guy and stash him away and then LeBron freaks out, like, you'd rather just appease the guy. I mean, I would.
And so the interesting development today, Joel Embiid, seeing the power of Twitter, tweets at LeBron, "Hey, bro, hope you're having a good day. Want to join us in Philly? Peace." Will it work?
100%.
I think it has a serious chance.
And
didn't he also have a tweet during the World Cup about Portugal and being psyched about the final goal? I saw him get absolutely shredded on Twitter for that.
Yeah, Joel is still learning Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's still learning Twitter, but I guess it's a shot in the dark that the King is going to go to Philadelphia and figure it out for him.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the Heat. Looks like they're all going to stay put. I don't know. Can they get Kyle Lowry? It seems like they're putting feelers out there for Kyle. The other thing I like about that is people advising the Raptors, do not let him in the room with Riley.
Yeah, like, what does Riley do in the room?
Don't let him in the room with Riley.
What's he do in there?
Zach, you've been in there.
Yeah, well, I was in there once, and
he won you over.
Yeah, now I'm his guy.
That hair is so slicked, by the way.
Yeah.
I think the hair. I want to say that Riley's hair just gave up at a certain point, and he doesn't put anything in it
Oh,
anymore.
no, he doesn't.
Oh,
Like
stop it.
1995, it was just like enough, Pat.
Who has more product in their hair, Riley or Shap? Jeremy Shap.
Oh, Shap, friend of the podcast, has a
Serious
nice
friend
head
of the Yeah, I know, but still.
They both have great hair. I mean, I love the slick.
It's a good look.
You should see our brother Alex's hair.
It doesn't look that good today. It's a rainstorm out there right now as we tape this podcast. All right, so moving on to the melodrama. You like that, guys?
That was brutal.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Okay. So the big meeting's going down. Met with the Bulls yesterday.
Love the meetings.
Met with the Rockets.
Love the recruiting meetings.
Met the Rockets and the Mavs today. Not exactly Rick Fox taking Jesus Shuttlesworth around Big State. Like,
great reference.
right? I mean,
He had a great time at Big
like,
State.
guys, Melo doesn't care about your new practice facility. Like, they showed him the new practice facility.
Did you guys see you guys saw the picture of Melo that they put on the stadium? Did you?
Which one?
They have a picture of Melo on the stadium wearing a number 7 jersey that Jeremy Lin wears.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lynn is not happy.
I was reading on Twitter, some people were like, no, Lynn was fine with it, and then its agent said Lynn was not fine with it.
No, Lin tweeted
But
and he was not happy.
Well, here's the thing. If they're going to sign Melo,
Right.
Lynn's gone.
No, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
like,
Isn't there a way that Lynn has to play out one more year, though?
if you're Jeremy Lin, just be happy that it just worked out the way it
But
did.
still tough.
Everything.
It's
Yeah.
still tough.
Oh, stop it.
It's
Stop
exactly my
it.
jersey.
It's not tough.
Like, do you think the
Your
jersey
whole-
in the picture says Lin on the back?
If I'm Jeremy Lin, I'm just so happy about that I'm not sleeping on Landry Fields' couch
Your
anymore.
whole life is a gift at this point, basketball-wise. Like, come
Also,
on.
Chris, if you were sleeping on Landry Fields' couch, things would be going very well for you.
Yeah, a little different than they are now.
Okay, moving on. Chris might get evicted, but that is another story for another time. So, I've kind of thought all along that he's staying put, right? He's building a new loft in Tribeca.
You think Melo? Sources close to the podcast said that he's building a new loft in Tribeca to Alex, but I don't really know if that's
Yeah,
true.
I actually Googled that and couldn't find anything about it, so that could be a complete lie. But
Oh, you couldn't just like figure out whether Melo was going to stay or leave on Google?
well, I have real estate connections, and I thought maybe that it was true. But anyways, I don't. People make fun of the, La La loves New York. He's got the son in New York. I think that stuff is legitimate. Like, he's got a good life here. He's the king of the city, sports-wise, pretty much.
It's the same thing. I go back to what I just said about LeBron, though. If he does stay here, then he can't. Then once again, he can't complain if they don't. Because if he does stay here, like, let's be honest. Do you guys think the Knicks are a playoff team next year?
Maybe, yeah.
It's like in 7-8.
Yeah, they're 7-8
they're a
seed.
playoff team like the
But listen-
Wizards. I mean, not even the Wizards.
No,
If
they're
you're
not.
Melo,
Bobcats.
the trade with the Mavs, Phil's draft, doesn't that give you a little glimpse
I mean,
that maybe there's light at the end of the
I love the
at the end of
Anthony
the tunnel?
early pick. I mean, I think that's
It's a great pick.
That guy was a stud at Wichita State. But I mean, if I'm Melo, and once again,
Zach, stop texting.
if he's
We're trying to do a podcast.
John just texted me that I was killing it in here.
John,
wow.
stop texting Zach.
Now he's jealous.
Where was I before the texting thing? If I'm Melo and you take money out of the equation, I don't see why he doesn't go to Chicago. It just seems like that roster is just their biggest need is scoring. They have an opening for his position. The roster's perfect.
I'll give you 32 million reasons.
No. I mean, if it's about the money, then he stays.
It would be an unprecedented pay cut in sports, one that you've never seen.
Well, no, because Dwight Howard did the same thing.
Yeah, okay. Give Dwight some credit. You're right.
He did do the same.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you are able to recoup that extra year on your next contract. I mean, you got to assume Melo's going to get another deal wherever he goes.
Yeah, but did you hear Alex? He's got Lala. She loves the city. He's got the kids. Like, they all have their friends.
Hashtag Tribeca Loft.
Sources.
What about this? What's wrong with Melo staying with the Knicks, where he can make the most money, $32 million or whatever the figure is more, taking a little less than that? You know, taking a $5 million pay cut. Then isn't he really a hero to New Yorkers? Like, freeing them up to add a small piece, but still making much more money than he could anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, if he does that, I think you are right. But I don't know. It's always hard to sit here and talk about leaving money on the table because who knows. But if they could add a guy like Pau Gasol because he takes a small pay cut, then, yeah, that would be great.
You know what I was looking at today that I think really, I don't know if he necessarily changed things, but kind of I feel like is helping the players out and really screwing over teams is Avery Bradley. How does that guy getting $8 million a year? If he's getting $8 million a year and you're Pau Gasol, what are you asking for?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the NBA free agency is
Or
ridiculous.
Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, Gordon Hayward's about to max out.
Everybody wants to give
crazy.
him a max deal.
I know.
And Lance Stevenson, not pleased with the offer the Pacers made.
No, they're at an impasse.
You acted like a lunatic on national TV, like in a contract year. Sorry that you're not breaking the bank, Lance.
Wait, so is there any way that I can get Hayward to the Celtics and get the squad back together?
It doesn't look like it's happening.
Matt
You get
Howard-
Sheldon Mack, you get
Matt Howard's
Howard.
available.
Friend of the podcast.
Another friend of
Isn't
the
he
podcast.
modeling in Italy?
All right, someone who's not a friend of the podcast.
Wow.
Jason Kidd.
Blink 182.
What? Blink 182. We're over you. What do you make of the whole Jason? Like, what's your takeaway from the Jason Kidd power play?
I mean, my number one takeaway is that it doesn't change the NBA landscape one bit. Zach,
Is that it? What do you?
Zach, what's your hot take on the Jason Kidd?
I honestly think I'd rather have Lionel Hollins.
I mean, at the end of the day, the Bucks they won 15 games last year. The Nets.
I was shocked when I saw that. By the way.
Oh, yeah,
I thought it was a typo. Almost.
No, what they did. The Sixers lost 27 in a row, but the Bucks would casually lose like 11 out of every 12.
I mean,
but
you got to go on
mix
a
in-
bunch of long losing streaks to win only 15.
They're
They
like, oh, no,
mix
it's
in a
fine.
home win at the Bradley
They're like,
Center.
it's fine. We got the Greek freak. Like, everything's fine. We're going to be okay. But still, that's a better coaching deal than the Nets, don't you think? Wouldn't you rather be coaching the Bucks than the Nets?
Long term,
Yeah.
I think the next 3 years the Nets have no flexibility. They got the Joe Johnson, Darren Williams, Garnett, and Pierce. They basically built their entire roster thinking that they might be able to win this year, and they didn't even come. They lost in 5.
Yeah,
it wasn't
I
close.
definitely don't blame Jason Kidd. Obviously he doesn't come across as a great guy for the way he handled things with Brooklyn, but now he's in a borderline better situation with a team on the up and up.
I don't even know if it's a better situation. I think that there must be part of him. I think the ultimate goal for all these guys is to be the president of basketball operations and GM where you don't actually have to sit on the bench. And
Definitely.
Kidd is one step closer to having full control of this organization without having to really travel or do anything.
After 1 year as a coach.
But that's what it's all about these days. I think that the NBA, it's just this way that owners can sell their franchise on something. Like, hey, I know we won 15 games. We got Jason Kidd now. We signed
we
him
got
for
this new
$5
fresh
million
coach.
a year. Derek Fisher's coming aboard, guys. Don't worry. Good times are around the corner.
Yeah, it's like, unless you have great, like in the NBA, you need good play. You don't need a good coach.
Name me a time when someone's been hired to a team and then they've turned it around that year because of a coach.
It doesn't happen in the NBA.
It does bring up the conversation of like the value of coaches in the NBA. Like, is this guy really? I know second-round picks, you can dispute their value. Is he really worth 2 second-round picks and twice the salary he was making in Brooklyn?
Well, I think that
The answer is no, Zach.
you shouldn't have asked the question then, but I think he does bring like good publicity to the team. He makes the team a little bit more appealing to fans.
That's the thing. It's PR. It's pure PR.
I know. That's what do you want out of a coach?
They gave Stan Van Gundy 5 years, $35 million in
That is
Detroit.
absurd.
I mean, I had a hard time bringing up the just like a rundown of coaches' salaries, but you got to figure 5 for 35 has got to be like near what Popovich makes. It has to be.
Yeah.
And what for what? To coach the Pistons, they won 29 games last year.
Yeah, Chris, we were talking the other day about NBA coaches and how like the carousel works kind of, and it's like I always talk about the Timberwolves. It's like we're gonna go out and find a new coach. Let's just bring like Saunders. You're fine.
Yeah, Flip. He's been on TV. Like he was on ESPN for a while.
Yeah,
he's great.
We know him. He's got a good suit collection.
Yeah.
He's very presentable.
And I also think it's like they get the best thing you can do from a PR standpoint. Hire a guy with no experience. You're like, hey, nothing but upside here, like because he has no track record.
But at least you hire Stan Van Gundy. Chicks want to go to the games.
He's going to be in ESPN The Body, actually. Did
That
you
was
hear
rumored. I didn't hear that.
The way I see it, there are maybe 4 coaches in the NBA worth big money. Pop,
Doc.
Tibbs, Doc, maybe Rick Carlisle. You'll probably say Spo, Zach.
No. I think I could have coached the Heat the last 3 years. And
Wow, Spo, if you're listening.
On the outs with the podcast, Spo. I was actually going to say, I just think in the NBA, it's so much more front office against coaching. Doc is, I think there's no doubt Doc's a great coach, but until Ainge pulls the trigger and gets Garnett and Pierce, no one's talking about him in that way as an elite guy.
Stevens?
No, Doc.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
You have to have talent. It just doesn't matter otherwise.
yeah, he found himself in a great situation.
And
But
now
it's
he's
a
in another.
combination.
Yeah, no. I'm not disputing that Doc's a great coach. I just think it starts in the front office in the NBA.
No,
Like,
I mean, it does.
even
You look-
Popovich, they have a great roster. Like, they're well coached and he's a genius, but that's a great roster with three
Hall of
borderline Hall of
Famers.
Famers on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like if you look at our boy friend of the podcast, Larry Brown, who could be a potential guest.
We've got a lot of friends of the podcast all of a sudden.
He went
And
and
some
coached
people
the
on the Avs.
Bobcats, and he got them, the 8th seed in the playoffs 1 year, and he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. And that's the best he could do.
Why do you think Phil Jackson doesn't want to coach the Knicks? Because it's just like resume-wise, he doesn't want to be a part of it. I don't know.
The other thing that I'd like to bring up here, and I know Chris agrees with me, people have talked a lot about how Larry Drew got screwed in this whole thing. Like, poor Larry Drew. He's going to get $4 million over 2 years to hang out and play golf. I don't know if Larry golfs, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I think
Larry's a scratch golfer.
we overrate the narrative a little bit.
He's got a good deal. I mean, being an NBA coach is a good deal. I think.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that overall it's a good deal. And yeah, like it's rude, I think, in the coaching community to just usurp someone's job. But at the same time, like Larry Drew, I mean, I'm not losing any sleep over the Larry Drew situation. Zach?
No, I won't lose any sleep over him. By the way, Chris has usurp written on. That's the only word he has on his page over there.
You like
He's got
that,
the
didn't you?
definition.
You got
Yeah.
a ton of notes.
Yeah,
dude.
I brought my own notes today because we wanted to keep it a little more free-flowing. So
I got no notes.
Zach's got no notes, and I got a thesaurus.
Zach has not stopped texting, by the way.
Yeah.
No, I
Who
stopped.
are you texting?
I stopped, dude.
My
Is it that
God.
girl?
Girls are texting me. They're like, when's episode 2? I'm like,
They're
relax,
like,
it's
does
coming
Chris really go to Dorian's late?
Did you
because
know
I'll
that
be
Chris...
there tonight.
No,
Did
wait,
you-
let me bring this up.
All right.
Are we talking about the same thing?
Go ahead.
All right, so Chris, our oldest, our role model,
What's up, boys?
apparently was at some sort of, what was it, a club? I think it was called Raven, actually, I believe.
Shout out to Raven, friend of the podcast.
He was apparently, 2, 3 a.m., trying to show a girl the pod, make her listen to it
No,
on his
it wasn't.
phone.
No, it was. All right.
Were there
so-
technical
Don't lie,
issues?
don't
like,
lie.
No, I'm not. Okay, first
Everyone
of all,
in America is listening.
I know. So
The girl definitely is.
100%, and I'm sorry. But late night, it's hard to try to like display the podcast in such a way that makes you look cool, and also where you can actually convince them that it's you. You know what I mean? Like 'cause
You're
it's
talking about this like you know what you're talking about. We've never tried this. We have one in the books.
Right.
We haven't tried
It's
it.
only been 1 week for the podcast, and shamefully, I'll admit that I gave it a shot. And I was like zooming in on the logo and like pressing play, but it was loud. It was really bad.
I think she was like, what is this kid doing?
Yeah, I mean that's not the first time.
You are pathetic in so many ways. Do you
Not
know that?
pathetic. Come on, he's decent.
Just brutal, I guess, is a nicer way to put it.
Yeah, I mean.
So you were actually involved with one of the other big sports stories of the week. You were at that party in Bel Air with Johnny Football, Tyrese, Mayweather, and Biebs. You were just out of the
okay,
shot,
so
right?
my hot take on this one is like, these guys, do they like each other, or is it just like a level of fame that they're all at where it's like, let's take a photo?
Chris, there's literally no way
That they actually like each other,
There's
right?
no way that Bieber and Mayweather and football and Tyrese
Like, are
all
they-
have stuff in common
Is it
to
like
chop
group
it up.
text? Like,
See, I'm going to go ahead and disagree.
you think
but-
they like each other?
Yeah, I just think once I hit that level of fame, that I'm going to be going to Bieber's parties. We're going to become boys. Like,
They're literally three Tyrese. I don't know how he got
Fast and the
involved.
Furious too. Too Fast, Too Furious. My bad.
He does seem like a couple below the rest of them, but those other three are like three of the, I don't know, 6 or 8 most famous people on Earth right now.
So
You
that's
reach
what
that
I'm saying,
plateau,
though.
you got to hang out and take
Like, what
selfies
I want to
together.
know is like, yeah, obviously late night scene, like they're gonna be together to just like attract people, but like afternoon video games, Bieber's house, like, are they going to his FIFA or no?
yes.
Zach's gonna go, yes, to his FIFA.
No,
I like
just,
that you're defending
I
this.
just hate all the chirp that he gets. Like, come on. It's like, if you want to go to Bieber's party and you got the invite, go to Bieber's party. Chill with, your boys.
I do think it's going to be interesting. First of all, Manziel is going to beat Tebow this year, 100%. Like, it's going to be awful.
Well, he's going to be better.
He's
No.
a much better
I
football
mean,
player.
I mean in the sense of the way that he's covered. So like, it's going to be a real experiment to see like how far he can push this thing. I think he'll shut it down during the year. Don't you?
No.
yeah. I do.
Look, I'm looking at this quote. I highlighted some quotes from this
Alex brought a computer.
awesome
I got
article
nothing over here.
about
Zach's
this.
got nothing.
it says Manziel promised last week he wouldn't tone down his well-documented weekend living despite advice from Hall of Famers Emmitt Smith, Joe Montana, and Warren Moon.
What venue did that advice take place?
He publicly promised that he wasn't going to tone it down.
Right, but I think that he'll during the year, if he does that, it is going to be the first hour of SportsCenter every day, and I just don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, but if you're putting that up right up next to his 330 yards,
I mean, look,
3 throwing, 2 rushing.
Johnny Manziel is my favorite college football player since Danny Warfel, and that's saying a lot.
Wow. Does that include Chase Reddick?
I'm not a fan of Chase Reddick. But basically, I just think that it's one thing for him to get photographed and stuff, because he's always going to be photographed. And it's another thing for him to be taking the selfies and putting them on the internet himself. That kind of brings it upon him, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's celebrating it. He's putting it in
He's
America's
trolling
face.
us, right?
It's great. I mean, Zach and I hung with him. I mean, I hate to name drop like this, but Zach and I hung with him.
Oh, yeah.
Remember last year's Super Bowl party in New Orleans when he was wearing a hoodie hanging out with Ryan Mallett?
You guys did not hang with him.
All right,
Yes,
just
we
because
did.
you didn't get in the picture doesn't mean we didn't
Chris
hang.
was like, oh, like, dude,
I wanted to
not
hang out-
asking for a picture.
For
like,
what it's worth, Alex and I had a whole strategy that because Ryan Mallett, friend of the podcast, he actually said hello to Alex and I and asked if we were twins, just kind of starting to chop it up. And I just thought maybe we could get an organic Manziel hangout instead of being like losers asking for pictures. And you guys went behind my back and got a picture with Manziel. True or false?
First of all, false. You said you didn't want to take the picture. You were like, I'm too like big time for that. or
I
whatever.
did not say those
Also,
words.
I like how you subtly just tried to drop in the Ryan Mallett called you twins with Alex.
Yeah, that was a very subtle name drop.
Did he or
And
did he not ask if
physical
we were
comparison
twins?
to me.
Did he or
Alex
did
is
he
a
not?
9, you are a 7.
It happens much more than I would like.
Yeah, I love it.
Are you that guy going around showing everyone your podcast late night at clubs? No, that's actually my older brother.
Yeah, it's going to happen again.
So I guess that sort of concludes the sports portion. We wanted to do a
Let's
little.
keep it going. Though.
Does it?
Let's
I'm
keep it
feeling
going.
good.
It's raining outside, and we kind of just want to stay in the booth
It's
to
bad
avoid the
outside.
water.
I don't have an umbrella.
That surprises no one. So we want to chop up a little summer TV.
Summer TV.
You, Chris, you pretty much only watch The Bachelorette and Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Well, now I watch the other show that we're going to get to, The Leftovers.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec, but can we just talk about your fandom? We were at dinner the other night, and someone asked, just like the table collectively, how old Kim Kardashian was. Chris goes
Kim's
31.
30. I think is she 32? I think.
You
What
would
was
know.
better at the dinner table was the look on my father's face when Chris was explaining
Mike
to him
Lupica,
how-
patriarch of the podcast.
how he refuses
He's
to
on
watch
TV.
24, which is...
Well, Dad is obsessed with 24,
and
then
you're obsessed with Keeping Up with
and
the
then
Kardashians.
he's always like, Chris, where? No, because 24 coincides with Bachelorette. So he's always like, Chris, where are you on 24? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Hometowns are next week, so like I don't really have a chance to catch up with Jack.
You are some kind of weird.
See, like, I watched Dawson's Creek. but I do it in my
Wait,
spare
Alex,
time.
you watch Bachelor with
I've
me?
watched a couple Bachelorettes.
A couple Bachelorettes.
Only because there's a sports parallel.
Oh, only because of sports
Yes.
parallel.
What about last season when we were watching it together?
All right. You guys going to
Yeah,
call me on the
that's
podcast
tough,
like
that's
this?
tough.
We all like it a little
All right.
bit.
So the sports parallel, I do want to bring this up.
Josh M, a.k.a. Josh Murray.
Josh Murray, Aaron Murray's older brother, ex-pro baseball player,
Ex-pro baseball player.
Here's what gets
Second
me.
round pick.
on the show, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're the pro.
Yep.
He tries to spin it that he stopped playing professional baseball because he wanted to start a family.
Yeah, apparently, and Alex looked up his stats. I think it was slightly below the Mendoza line. So
Yeah.
I think it was more that he didn't decide to stop playing baseball. Baseball decided he should stop playing.
Gosh, you didn't stop because you want to start a family. You stopped because you hit 190
If
in
Andy
A-ball.
brought the slugging percentage out and was like, but also your OPS was brutal, Josh.
The guy's trying to start a family. Give him a break. He's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in
cares?
single A.
No, but next
cares?
week they're going to his hometown. Aaron is about to get drafted. Andy's going to be running post patterns. Aaron Murray throwing darts. It's going to be terrific television. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Bauer.
I mean, the fact is, there's never been a more clear winner on a Bachelor
He's
or
such a
Bachelorette
front
show.
runner.
Yeah.
Although the best is one guy, Nick, who is kind of like the villain of the show.
I don't know how in depth we can get. We're losing.
Yeah,
He said he
listeners.
watched every episode of every season to prepare, which I really
That's just
respect.
smart.
It's just
He sounds
running,
he
he's
sounds
running
a
the
lot like-
analytics.
you should try to get on The Bachelorette. No, you would lose.
2016.
Guys got a strategy. So the other show that's hot on the podcast, Leftovers,
Another
HBO.
friend of the podcast,
Michael Gaston.
If you watch the show, he's the guy who comes in basically as hot as you can.
Spoiler alert. If you
Yeah,
haven't
spoiler
seen The Leftovers, turn the podcast off.
No, turn it down.
Turn it
down.
Yeah,
I can't lose viewers.
Right, turn it down.
Okay, ready? Spoiler alert.
Okay.
Pause.
That was legit. That's a pro move.
Okay. So Gaston comes in basically as hot as you can come into.
Smoking hot.
Any TV show, just lights up a dog.
Packing an absolute dip.
Yeah, packing a chew. And I don't know, what'd you think of the show? Like, I'm very intrigued by it. I watch everything HBO does, but...
Well, I want to do a little more Gaston first. It was amazing. I think he was in 3 or 4 scenes, and he didn't say a word.
We may get Gaston on the podcast.
Until, like, an hour and 10 minutes into the show.
And what he
didn't say
said
a
was
word.
really special.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it can't be repeated on these airwaves.
It's a good thing most of our listeners are also Gaston fans, because the rest of the listenership is pretty confused
Okay,
right now.
back to The Leftovers. So I liked it. I thought it was really interesting. Like, it made me want to watch the next one.
Oh, it looks solid.
Somebody's got to explain to me the people that wear the all white and they smoke the cigarettes.
Just ripping cigs.
I
Like,
think
doesn't sound like appealing to me.
like you wouldn't be a part of that
No.
cult.
And no,
Definitely
the
not.
weirdest thing is they don't talk.
Okay,
Right,
here's
no,
the
there's
question.
another example why I wouldn't like
I would be so bored. I mean, you'd have such a nice head buzz the whole time, which would be terrific.
I like how they just take the beating though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they just wear it 100%.
The list of reasons why being a part of the white-shirted smoking cult it would be bad is long. I mean, we don't need to go. Who do you think, between the three of us, do you think any of us would get raptured?
You would get raptured.
I was gonna say he was gonna be one of the people, like one of the white people.
Oh, one of the people who's just ripping
I think
cigs the whole
Zach
time.
gets raptured. I join the white shirt cult. You're left to just suffer on Earth.
Wait,
Chris.
but is it a rapture?
Police chief at the bar, solo, talking to people.
Is it a rapture?
Like, I
Because-
used to have a podcast with these two guys, I swear.
They don't believe you.
Yeah, they got raptured. It's fine. Now it's a solo podcast.
But you're throwing around the word rapture like you're sure about it.
What do you mean?
I don't know what else to call it,
yeah,
Zach.
it's just like,
I mean,
what are
it's-
we going to say?
No, but I don't know. I felt like you were saying like who would get raptured, like meaning it was like a good thing, and like those were the good people. Because you said
we
it
don't
was
know
a-
if the good people got taken or the good people
yeah,
are
because
still there.
like the Pope got taken, but
But also
also Gary
Busey.
Busey got
I
taken.
love that. Was
Yeah,
beautiful,
that's
wasn't
nice.
it?
So the other huge takeaway from that show, party at Dorfman's at the end of the episode.
Epic Dorfman's party.
Fresh party. Kloop would have killed it.
Yeah, do you have that spin the iPhone game when you
No.
had high school parties?
This podcast is starting to make, dare I say, putting me into a sleazy light, and I don't like it.
I'm surprised it took 2 podcasts for that.
Yep.
So the iPhone game, first of all, it's got to exist by now. If
Yeah,
it
no,
hasn't been made,
It's
I
really
haven't.
weird.
it's really, really weird.
Well, I think that's like the idea. It's just that
Well,
humanity.
parties get weirder when 2% of the world gets taken away. I mean, that's just something we have to accept.
Yeah.
Also, the kid who's like the main girl's brother, the son of the cop.
Oh, yeah.
is really jammed. I think.
Yeah, he's having a weird time.
Like things aren't looking good for him.
Yeah, things aren't looking good for that kid.
He's like attractive, but
See, this is what
I worry
happens.
about it.
See, this is what happens when USA Soccer goes down. We're chopping up raptures and Dorfman's party late night,
Bachelorette.
and iPhone spin the bottle and Bachelorette.
Chris's personal life.
Yeah, and my personal life. Which
Should
is,
we wrap it up?
Yeah,
Should we wrap it up?
I think we should wrap it up. We were gonna go with Blink 182, but instead, Gold Swag
So-
take us out.
That's all for this episode of In the Loop. Thanks for hanging with us. Enjoy the 4th of July weekend. Watch the fireworks. Suck down some Twisted Teas.
If someone tries to show you a podcast, it's real.
I was going to say, if you're a girl at the Stephen Talk House in Amagansett, New York this weekend, and some weird guy tries to show you his podcast,
That's me, Chris.
that is my brother, Chris Lupica. Throw a drink in his face on me. Other than that, be thankful you don't live in Belgium. You live in the best damn country on earth. Have a great 4th, everyone. We'll see you next week.